Okay, how is everybody? So we're at January 28th and we're going to do a light extraction of our ENCs with cocoons and whatever babies there is on them. And we're going to put that into our breeder bin and we're going to reset the breeder bin. So we will give them a second to head to the bottom and start peeling this stuff off. Okay, we'll just take it slow and see what we get here. Try to take the top off a little bit. Before we do a whole dump. Oh, there's a worm. So, food. We'll put the food in here. See, they're heading up. I got them quite a tilt here, and they're heading. You can't quite see it, but they're going for the highland. It's kind of strange. Anyway, we'll keep looking and sorting along the way, trying not to move big worms over with the cocoon idea, because I want the big worms in the breeder bin. And they're doing pretty active, and they're doing okay, and they're doing... There's a big cocoon right there. It's getting darker. So as they get darker, rather than just real... Oh, there's a whole bunch of them right here. So they're really yellow like that when they're fresh. And as they get darker, it means they're ripening up and they're getting ready to hatch. And oh, you guys are really going up. So I just, I'm just going to do this. There's a big yellow cocoon. There's a lot of cocoons in here. I'm seeing quite a few. So it looks like a good time to do it. We're right on the 3-week threshold. There's a big cocoon. ENC's cocoons are really easy to see. There's a big cocoon because they're so big and they're very bright when they're new. There's another big cocoon. There's a lot of cocoons in here, man. I'm pretty happy with this. Just taking our time, peeling off the top. It'll get faster than this when we kind of get this. I don't know, anybody that's watched me do this before, I kind of take off what I can while it's in this bin, and then I dump it all. You'll see. So our channel is growing. We have a good following, I guess, and it seems to be getting more followers. Kind of neat. Rome wasn't built in a day, and I'm not in a hurry. There's a baby worm on that one. We'll take him with us and put him in in over there so that he goes, you know. I've said before, I maybe waited too long the last time when we when we reset the bin the last time. It was a month, and I knew I had baby worms in the bin, and they were going either way, and kind of just works itself out. If we see them along the way, there's a nice sized cocoon, there's a nice sized cocoon. If we see them along the way, we take them out. If we don't see them, they just hang out with the big guys. You know, that's okay. Not the end of the world. And tip you up just a little bit. Maybe we'll do it the other angle. How about we do it that way? And back out a bit. I don't know. Here. You can get a better view. Sorry, had you so smunched up. Didn't mean to do that. So, yeah, there's cocoons, and I see cocoons in every little bit I take. So that means my breeder bin is getting really quite tuned up. Yeah. In every handful, I'm seeing cocoons with, there's a worm, in it. And that's the way that's what you want, right? If you're going to have a breeder bin, you want it to produce cocoons. Whole objective. So let's talk about bedding. I use mostly cardboard, coffee, eggshells. That's what my bedding is. Coffee grounds, eggshells for the grit, and a lot of cardboard. I try to precondition it now, get it preconditioned. So that it's a little more ready for the worms to use. And trying not to throw too many worms back in there, but you know what, if the odd one goes, the odd one goes. I mean, it ain't the end of the world. There's a brown cocoon, and it's, you know, one of the ones that's darkening up and getting ready to probably hatch soon. They say 21 days, so we're at about 22 days right now from last time we reset it. 21, 22 days. So we're pretty much bang on that. So as you can see, it's not that difficult to just keep working your way down, and as you take some off, they go deeper into the bedding. Just skim it lightly. There's a grape. See what I'm saying? Grape is not a fast food. Big cocoon. Really happy with the amount of cocoons we're seeing in here. So I guess I'm just trying not to bring a bunch of my breeder size worms over. And like, as you do this, they'll go down, trying to get away from the light. Cocoon. So I did one of my first sifting of the worms, and I time-lapsed it all, and it was pretty cool, the time-lapse, but some people said they just didn't really see very much because it was so fast. So since then I've been giving you when I reset my breeder bins at full length. Let me know how you like it, guys. Let me know what you want. If you want me to go full length or you want me to time lapse some of it, you just gotta tell me and I'll try it. I'm learning about this YouTube thing. It's some cocoons. It's a learning process, I'll tell you that. I'm not used to what I'm supposed to be doing for public viewing type of deal, although I don't think it's that terrible of a thing to do. I mean, it's not that hard to catch on to. I just need, if you've got some input, something you want, more time, less time, time lapse, think the videos are running too long, let me know. Comment. Tell me what the scoop is. It's actually going, I think, fairly reasonably quickly because I'm not out of this bin yet. Little worms. Some little worms. There's cocoons, cocoon. There's a lot of cocoons. There's cocoon, cocoon. Like, yeah, very active. And we're going to grab these little guys and throw them in here. Because, well, I see them. And if I see them, I might as well just do that. But, you know. So, I guess we're doing some editing. My phone just cut off. It's okay. We can add them together and do what we got to do. I just pulled a couple of little worms out as we're going down. Probably find some more. They follow the light down. Like they push down away from the light too, right? And you see along here, they're in the shade there from the light. And they are hanging out in the shade. So as we do this, yeah, we're getting down to where the worms are definitely more concentrated. And you know, I'm really enjoying learning more about these worms. I'm enjoying the fact that they're multiplying for me because I have projects to do on the farm. I don't know if people have been listening. There's a little worm right there. Along the way, I've kind of given people some information on what I plan to do in the spring. So I'll expand on that. What I plan is to go, there's a little worm in there, but we're going to send him to the other bin. My plan is to go to the farm and make a windrow, a compost windrow. And then as that heats up, it will pre-compost itself to get into condition. And as it starts cooling off, I'll add a good bunch of worms. I'm always going to keep some inside because I don't want to risk losing my whole population, right? And it likely won't be the European night crawlers going out there. It'll probably just be red wigglers. Not that the European night crawlers couldn't do it. It's just I got way more red wigglers than I've got Europeans right now, and kind of was hoping to maybe be able to sell some bait worms out of the Europeans someday. But as I start this thing and create my compost and make compost teas and try to amend my land that's very exhausted, I'm hoping that as I do that, my land gets better. I'm trying to improve my soils. Okay, so now we're seeing the worms are getting very agitated. We're gonna toss them all into a pile. They're heading for the hills, man. Like they just, the light's really bothering them. We're gonna just take this over here, show you guys what we're doing. Let's do that. Look at, there's a good bunch of worms, right? These are just my breeders. So we'll just continue picking stuff off. And these guys will go down, they'll create a ball, or they'll try running away. I don't know. Get in there. Let's do that. Let's throw them off in the corner as we see them. They'll just speed it up a little because right now they're just, shall we say, turning and burning. They just want to get out of the light. What else is there to talk about? I don't know, pretty quiet this week. I don't have as much to say. We're, like I said, we are still renovating, but we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. When you start to just finish and do cleanup work and finish work, you know you're getting towards the end. Look at the size of them two cocoons. They're very large. So, yeah. Kind of really looking forward to not being renovating the house because it's just time to do something else. Been at it for, there's a little worm in there. We're going to send him with the cocoons. We've been at this renovation since before Christmas. And we did a whole bunch of work downstairs. Then we came upstairs to do a bathroom upstairs. There was never a bathroom upstairs. So let me just say, as you open things up, you find out what people have done before in an old house. We live in a 110, 120-year-old house. Pretty interesting, some of the stuff you find in the... There's a little worm. We're going to send him off to the other bin. So there's a bunch of little worms. See? And it's not like I'm looking for them, but they're all in one bunch, so they're going to go to the other bin. As we get down to the bottom, there's more and more little worms. And you just keep plugging away. Try not to handle them a whole bunch, I guess, but you know, you got to do something here. You can't just stop. So you stir them around and you do your thing. I'm trying to throw them over here along that shady spot so they kind of are out of the light and settle down a bit. Don't have a bunch of advice for anybody this week because nobody's really commented too many things about asking anything, so I will just leave that. Sometimes no news is good news. Everybody's having a good week, so letterbuck. A little worm. Goes into the new bin. Well, not the... Goes into the hatchery bin, the brooder bin, with the cocoons. So if you see how I'm doing this, they go into the corner and they start pushing everything up, and they're trying to get underneath each other, and as they do that, they're pulling the stuff up for you. You just got to get to the point where all you're doing is kind of just brushing it off. I think I've really ticked these guys off. And Europeans are a little bit more wander about type worms than the reds are. The reds seem to, would you call it, be more docile, more tolerant, I guess, more tolerant of stuff like this. Yeah, my camera must be getting full again. I did one video before for feeding the worms and it was fine, but now it seems to be cutting out, so I will have to edit a bunch of stuff. Try to get this done as fast as I can. So you can see what's happening here in the corner, right? Just keep kind of taking it off, and I guess I don't need to get real. That's a big cocoon. Crazy, I guess, but they sure get worked up compared to the red wigglers. The little worm. The night crawlers are definitely more finicky, and they say the African night crawlers are even more temperamental. I don't have any African night crawlers, and I probably never will because I live in Canada. There's a little worm. You know, basically, if I see the little guys, I'm putting them in the other bin. But if I don't see them, I'm not going to worry about them. Well, that's that little bit I grabbed. There's a cocoon there, a cocoon there. I maybe missed some getting some out of the bin, but there was a lot of cocoons in that. As you get down here, they start pushing everything out, and they're pushing cocoons out to you also. So that's why I pull stuff over here. And there's little worms. And a lot of cocoons in there. So this will be our breeder bin also. Again, we're not going to take them out of this bin. We're just going to give them new bedding and give them a feed. And leave them in this bin. But I knew the last time that we had a bunch of baby worms in here because I could see them, and when you get down to this, they're pushing cocoons out. They're helping you out. They're helping you sort their stuff out. Helpful little guys, aren't they? And I'm sure there's still some babies in that pile. But what we don't see, we're not going to chase after. We're going to leave them alone. And we'll get them out in another 3 weeks. Or we won't get them out in another 3 weeks. Maybe they'll still be in there and they'll eventually become breeders. You know, worm farming can be as technical or as easygoing as you want to make it. You just have to watch that they don't escape on you when you're doing this, because they do get riled up. See? And they don't, I mean, you're tearing their world apart. They don't understand what's happening, I guess, because I don't think they have the capability of understanding what's happening. All they know is the light bothers them and hurts them, and they'd rather not be in it. But you can get a really good amount of material cleaned away from them if you just take a few minutes to do it. How does that look, guys? What do you think? Let's see what they're gonna do. Let's give them their bedding. And well, I'll give it to them over here, and you'll watch. They'll start coming over. I'm just going to let it touch them. Away they come. They will come in, especially if I do this and turn the bucket so that the light shines on them. Just going to build a little moat. So when they come over, they got to go in. And then I'll give them some more afterwards. Okay. I'll set this over here for now. Well, actually, you can kind of see what I'm doing over here. This over here is my rooter bin. So this is where we're going to put these. And we're just going to go like this. Okay, try it for the 4th time. Sure going to have a bunch of stuff to edit through. I got all kinds of stuff that's in my camera. I put a bunch of stuff in trash, but I guess I never emptied my trash. So here's my advice to people that are playing YouTube and doing videos and having this problem. Empty your trash out before you start your videos. Even though you put stuff in the trash, doesn't mean that it's gone. You have to empty your trash out. Okay. So as you see, these guys are kind of making their way in here a little bit at a time. We'll shove them over by, we'll just do that. We'll stir them up a little bit. They'll come into the bedding. We're going to close these up. And I was really happy with the amount of cocoons I seen in here. Right, we'll put this guy away. He's getting heavy. As it goes, we're probably going to have to eventually start another bin for the ENCs, because they are definitely, that bin's full. Let's just go with that bin's full. Not real worried about my bed sheet. My dog's been up here eating a bone this morning. I made quite a mess on here. I'm pretty sure it's due for a washing. But I'm just trying to get the stuff up off of it that I can. Put it in there. Alrighty, how are they doing? I don't know, people like watching the worms go into the bedding. Here, let's do that. There. They will go down now, because they're going to go downwards to get away from the light. They're off to the side like they were. Maybe they're not as likely to go downwards. We're going to give them a good old chunk of pumpkin to get the food zone going so that they can all get together and do their singles bar party. Not sure if Hunter's worms down in Florida went on holidays or is just maybe busy doing something else. Haven't heard anything out of them since just about Christmas. It's been quiet. Hope everything's all right. That was one of the channels I really liked to watch. He had a pretty neat operation. Another one I watch is Plant Obsessed. Plant Obsessed. There, she's Jane, I guess, is very full of information. The Garden and Worm Lady. She's very full of information. She's cool. Kind of neat little operation there. Pacific Northwest or Northwestern worms. He's got a neat operation. And there's lots of different worm farms to watch on YouTube. There they're going. Now they're getting down there. These guys like to get out of the light. The red wigglers, you know, they'll take a little longer. These Europeans, they head for the caverns pretty fast. From what I've noticed, like I said, they're more finicky when it comes to working with them in the light, and they really lend themselves well to the light extraction method. They're more likely to head for the bottom, right, to get away from the light. And I've got a pretty big light up here, like I think it's 4,500 lumen LED. It's pretty bright. It's really nice to work under when you're dealing with cocoons and small worms and stuff. Good, have a good light helps a lot, and it helps with the light extraction method. It really, it's a powerful light, so they want to get away from it. So as you can see, they're just about all down. And we're going to close these guys up. I gave them a little bit of food. Not too worried about my breeders. They got lots of bedding. But I just want them to have a spot where they can get in and mingle around and do the breeder worm thing, because when they get together in them zones, in the feed zones, that's where they stay, and they mix up and they get active and they start breeding. Like, subscribe, share if you liked it. Comment to me whether you like to be short or longer, if you like the time lapse, if you like the extended method. Let me know how you feel about the video. Talk to you later. Have a good one.